Mitch from PickDogs.com here with Chris and Rod. Chris looks like he is half dead, but so what? Maybe we'll buy him a comb. Rod, or a hat. Rod, good morning.
Good morning.
It's day 600 here of Without Sports in the quarantine. I haven't heard any kind of updates that anything is going to happen, just that UFC not going to happen. Now, Major League Baseball talking about simulated games, which doesn't get us any closer to real games. But just, biding our time, using it the best that we can. I got a lot going on behind the scenes, some stuff that a lot of you guys are going to be really excited about. Something that I've been doing on Mondays, my Mitch Mondays, and I'll probably talk more about it on this Monday coming up. But I'm going to answer a lot of the questions that I get, some of the most common questions, and a lot of that has to do with how I built the websites, how I get people to the websites, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be going over all that and probably give people opportunities to do that as well and offer up help. So we'll see how that goes. My branding people's idea. So we'll see how much support they're willing to give us on something like that, because I know I can't do it alone. I'd expect there'd be a lot of people interested. But so we got still doing these sim picks. Do you think Sports Chat Place had inside info about coronavirus and such before selling to you? Well, they didn't sell it to me. I owned it the whole time. So it wasn't, no one saw. I owned Sports Chat Place. I started Sports Chat Place by myself. I owned it the whole time. I never didn't own it. And believe me, it could have been a virus or anything else out there. I did not want to be partners with the people that I was partners with. So I would have taken a lot less than I did. That's for sure. Well, that's And if you look at the deal in hindsight, it's the other way around. But no one sold me Sports Chat Place. I owned it the whole time. I started it myself from the very, very start. I don't even understand the question. Doesn't even make sense. Unknown.
He just thought you bought it.
Yeah. It's like, what are you talking about exactly?
Yeah.
I don't even understand that. Something I've been told I can do is I can modify the comments and how we see them on the screen. And I think this would be something that would be really cool. I was looking at this yesterday and I was like, you kind of have to have the comment on the screen to do this stuff. And you have to have the comment on the screen to do this stuff, but no, that's not what I wanted to do. Damn it. Let's see something. So that doesn't work. So I'm trying to edit the way we can see the comments. And it's text. I want to edit the color. Let's see something. There it is. Oh, that doesn't look good. Sorry, guys. I'm enjoying this, though. It's like gives me a chance to actually work on something. There we go. I've been wanting to do that forever. Looks way better, right? But there it is. They didn't sell it to me. I owned it the whole time. So there's the answer. Yeah, you're misunderstood. It's okay. Charlie thinks the NBA is easy. This looks way better, right? The comments look good. Morning.
Yeah.
God Z has been on fire with what? Horses or? I don't understand with which.
They're 7-1 in the last 2 days. If that's what he's talking
4-0
about.
the day before. Horses.
Horses? Went 4-0 the day before. I don't see it.
I'm not sure. I don't know. No idea.
Oh, horses.
All right. Well,
we did all right at horses.
Anyways, some sports are generally easier to bet, and some are a little more difficult for others. So, I don't think we're going to get any kind of consistent response here from anybody. But Chris, start off with what do you think are the easier sports?
Well, for me, the one that I found the easiest when I first started betting was actually baseball. Because a lot of times I would just rely on the starting pitchers were a lot more consistent. You didn't have this opener strategy or these bullpen games. But when I was first starting, and even up until now, a lot of times with that, I'll just focus on money line betting. I won't focus on trying to pick run line or trying to pick totals and stuff like that. I think the easiest bet that you can make, and it doesn't have to maybe baseball, but I think the easiest bet you can make anywhere is just money line.
Yeah, we're looking at sports. We're doing sports. We're just looking at what sports are easier.
Easiest sport for me was probably baseball.
How about you, Rod?
Hockey. For me, it was, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's hockey. I can just look at things. It's just the knowledge of watching hockey. I can see things happen before they. I can know how the storyline goes. I've watched enough hockey. It's like I can look and be like, okay, well, this is what's going to happen tonight, and there it is. For me, hockey by far the easiest sport for me to bet.
Yeah, I would say for me, it seems that I do best at baseball, and that's because it is a money line betting sport for the most part, and you don't have to win that much. Anytime you don't have to win, 60% of the time or 58% of the time to turn a profit, to me that makes it a little bit easier. But which sports do I think I'm best at? Boxing and college football. So it's kind of two different answers there. I just think for me baseball is the easiest. It just, anytime you don't have to win, that often, it certainly makes it easier. And that's why I always think that people that bet the big money line favorites are really betting against themselves, because it's like, it's minus 400 favorite. It's if you lose, you have to win 4 times just to get even. And how many 4-game parlays do you hit? So you'd have to hit 4 in a row. It's like as soon as you lost 1, now you're back in the hole again. And if it's money line baseball and you bet a favorite, now you're deeper in. You're even deeper.
Uh-huh.
So it's just very, very hard to dig yourself out. But that's why to me baseball is the easiest. I think more dogs come in baseball than any other sport too, because there's just more games. So, which ones would you say are a little bit Tougher, Chris.
For me, definitely the college sports, because the college sports are where you see a lot of these more inflated lines, these bigger point spreads, and it's sometimes tempting to take points with Alabama as a 28-point favorite or whatever, because they're always one of the top teams in the country, but it just takes a couple scores for you to be digging yourself out and have to win, put up 42 points or 49, and it's harder with these bigger lines. And the teams are always changing, so you have to always pay attention to the rosters and stuff like that.
How about you, Rod?
Baseball, for sure. It's got the most variables out of any sport that you have to look at when you bet baseball. There's the pitcher, there's the umpire, there's who's coming in as reliever, who's eligible to come in as relievers today. Did somebody pitch a pitch yesterday? You've got the beginning of the game, you've got the middle of the game, you've got the end of the game that you really have to catch for first five, and then you got the last five. For baseball, by far the hardest to count. It just has the most variable, and some of them you just can't control. Let's leave this reliever in there for forever. Oh, look, they scored a dozen against them. Oh, maybe we'll take him out now.
To me, I'm the opposite of Chris. I think that any of the pro sports are easily the toughest. I think that it's harder to find matchup differences. That's why I think baseball. Like Rod has baseball as toughest. I have it as my easiest, and it's like, with me, baseball is a game of matchups more than anything else, and it's still, you have hitters that can't hit righties, they can't hit this type of pitch, they can't hit that type of pitch, and then you have pitching staffs, up and down that have those type of pitchers. So it's just managerial moves and managers that make the right moves and can exploit those matchups. But most teams have guys. Most guys most teams have guys that can match up correctly, and that's why managers are such a big deal. But to me, the one that I hear that most people quit betting on is college basketball. And I saw someone here said college basketball is the easiest, but I think it can be, but it's also this is a game with as Chris said, in college sports in general, you get these wild point spreads that are gigantic. So the backdoor cover opens up, and it's like even the great teams against the lousy teams, you're looking 28, 30 points. I mean, how many times did we see 20 plus in Gonzaga games this season? And it's just the back. Whenever you have in that 27, 28 range, you're wide open to. Not only is it a tough number to cover, but now you've left the back door open, and more than likely, if you're in that kind of type of point range scenario, you're putting your backups in against other team starters. So unless you're Kentucky or Duke or Michigan State, maybe even, not that many teams have that deep of a bench where their bench is going to be significantly better than the other team starters and be able to put up, those kind of numbers consistently across the board. I just think that all the pro sports are always going to be the hardest because everybody can play. In college football, you could have tough matchups where you have even a smaller school, they might have a great left tackle, right? And this is something that is going to fly under the radar more likely. I mean, how many times do you say, "Oh man, I really want to see this game, man. They got a great left tackle. They got a great, they got a great left side of the offensive line. Great guard, center, and tackle. It's rare that you ever hear anybody say that, but that's where you win. That's where you win, and it's because of matchups like that. When you look at the Miami of Ohio team that Ben Roethlisberger played on, his offensive line could have played at any Division I team in the country as a unit. They were that good. And, so I think in college sports, you can generally find these mismatches. We saw Obi Toppin last year, this past season. It wasn't even last year, it was last month. We saw Obi Toppin up in the A10, which was a little bit weaker this year than what it normally is. And he ran roughshod. I mean, nobody got a whiff of stopping this guy. How he's not projected to be, the top NBA pick, I don't know. But it doesn't even make any sense to me. So I just think in college sports you can exploit matchups, while in the NFL, NBA, there's less likely going to be those mismatches where the points isn't coming to account. And we see it in the NBA all the time, right? The Kings and the Knicks and teams like that, all of a sudden they come up and they beat, one of the best teams. There's only 5 guys on the court and only 1 ball, and everybody in the entire league can play. There's no slouches in the NBA.
And then your 5 bench guys. Usually your 5 bench guys are pretty good. The next guy can stand up and play. That's why college football is a little. You can find that matchup where it's like, oh, that team's really weak in that position, and that guy's out. So what are they going to do?
If you even watch the G League in the NBA's G League, if you've watched college basketball in the last 3 years, if you followed it as closely as we do, right? Everybody in our community. And I know everybody follows it, crazy into this stuff, and that's why we all get along, even when we don't get along, right? Is that in that NBA G League, we all know 70% of the players, at least 70% of these guys, There's more guys in the NBA that I probably don't know than there are in the G League, It's like when you look at the G League rosters, they're just loaded with talent. So, and these are guys that were superstars, in college, and guys that were drafted in the first round. It's not like just guys that were guys that just got by. These were guys that were the stars in college. And I'm looking at the rosters right now. And it's like, like I said, I know all these guys. Not every single one of them, but I would say 70-80% of them. I could tell you where they went to college. Like, I'm on the G's. Kyle Guy, right, is in the G League, right? He won the national championship at Virginia last year. He was their guy. He was the guy. So I just think, in college sports, you can generally find mismatches. And then in pro sports, generally a little bit closer in talent. So it's tough. Yeah, I mean, once in a while, like Charlie is saying, Nebraska was terrible this year. Once in a while, you get a team that's just terrible and they get crushed, right? UMass, right, in football. Right? They got destroyed last year. All the time. But then they go ahead and cover, right? Remember they covered against like BYU or something. Not sure if I'm sold on this commenting. I do like the white background on the commenting, though. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like the background.
I like it better with the white background, right? And the black letters. Yeah. I'm just not sure I like the font. We can work on it. But what sport do you think is the easiest to bet totals?
For me, it turned into the NBA turned into that league or that sport. You got with how much the offense had improved over the last few years and how many more teams are getting better using the 3-point line. It was you could easily hit an over on any given night, and then you have other teams that are defensive specialists that play. You can key in on playing low scoring games like Utah. I can't think of other ones off the top of my head, but for me, it was the NBA that was becoming easier to hit totals on.
How about you, Rod?
Yeah, it depends. You're gonna be picky. I don't know. I'm pretty picky. What a huge total guy can be. Because you can look at it at a thing like in hockey, and all of a sudden there's like you think they're going to be tons of goals, and they score none. The goalie stands on his head. I think basketball is easier to find a total, like Chris says. I don't know about NBA. Colleges, I think you can find some pretty good weaknesses in college hoops. And football, well, you can find spots. Like there's spots that, like if you look at football and the weather's crappy and blowing 8,000 miles degrees, and you can usually find. I find my spots where I like a total.
You got to be more relevant. Only 4 viewers. No, we actually have 25 viewers, and we're just trying to stay on the air. We're not gonna change the focus of what we do to go over for 4 months. You know. Yeah, I mean, if Rod wants to do a horse racing show, there's nothing from stopping him from doing one. You know, he's welcome to do it. He has, I can give him access to our channel if he wants to do a show, or if you want to do it. I'm not being a Scrooge. It's for damn sure. I show up every single day. I'm certainly not going to change our business because altogether and add a horse racing section when I know the amount of work that takes on an ongoing basis. This is going to pass. If this is going to go on for 5 years or something, yeah, well, maybe we'll change the horses, or maybe maybe we'll pack it up and do something else. If there's not ever going to be sports again, but I'll tell you one thing: we're certainly not going to change our business because there's a stoppage for a few months. I mean, adapt. I mean, what do you do for a living? I'd love to hear this, man. What do you do for a living? I bet on sports. Okay, I live in Hawaii, and you guys know I started I started doing these shows. I live in a 700 square foot apartment in Chicago. What do you do? If you have this business advice for me, what do you do? What do you do for a living that you have this great business advice for me? Yeah, so start your own show. If you want to be there's plenty of other guys doing races, and it's like it'll be interesting to see what they do. It'll be interesting to see what they do when regular sports start up. If they're able to maintain that, I'll how about this? I'll bet you they don't. I'll bet you they can't. I'll bet you anything. So I'm certainly not going to invest that. Yeah, so you work construction. I play golf and surf every day. I mean, that's your choice. If that's what you want to do with your life, I don't tell you, hey, don't work construction or whatever. I certainly wouldn't come over and tell you any advice on construction because I don't know anything about it. Yeah, I know. I don't want your advice. I didn't ask for it. It's called unsolicited advice. Chris, how did we do in our sim picks yesterday? Who won?
So New England beats Giants 40-7.
So I had that one.
Yeah. The Raiders beat the Bucks 45-27.
I think I lost that one.
Rod had them on the money line. Packers beat the Falcons 33-30 on a late touchdown.
So they didn't cover, right?
They didn't cover. I think it was 3.5. Or no, it was 2.5. 2.5.
Oh, yeah. So I did not get that one. All right.
And the Seahawks beat the Rams 43-36.
Oh, so actually, I did have the Giants on the coin flip. So who was the winners again? Can you just say them again?
Yeah, Patriots 40-7, Raiders 45-27, Packers 33-30, and Seahawks 43-36.
So I was 1-3.
Well, again. 8-0 in 2 days on Simpix again.
I flipped a coin on mine, so.
So today, 12 o'clock, Rams at Cardinals. Rams -6, over under 56.5.
Who's at who? Can you say it again?
Rams at Cardinals.
Blocking this.
Rams
work.
-6, over under 56.5.
Where my pennies went. Can you flip them? Let's see. Gotta have something here I can flip. Rod, you want to give out your picks while I'm looking for a coin?
Yeah. I'm gonna give the Cardinals +6. 2 many points.
So
Yeah, I like the Cardinals.
This will be
Rams are on a
heads,
back bet.
and that'll be tails.
I like the Cardinals as well. The Rams haven't looked good in these simulation games.
This
They had a
one,
chance yesterday. They just sat there in the huddle and watched 30 seconds, or how many, 25 seconds per clock. I'm like, are you guys going to speed up? You guys are on the 20. You can throw the ball in the end zone and tie this game up. And they just stood there in the huddle. I was like, what are they doing?
so this guy's not on this channel. So don't let the door hit you on the way out. Spent all this time. So who's home?
Rams at Cardinals.
All right, so Cardinals, Rams. Cardinals.
At 3 Eastern, the Washington Redskins at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles -3.5, over under 51.5.
I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm on the Eagles as well.
Who is it? Eagles what?
Redskins at Eagles.
Eagles, Redskins.
And in that one, I'm also taking
Yes.
Alshon Jeffrey to score the first touchdown at +750.
7 o'clock Eastern. Chargers at Patriots. New England -6, over under 58.5.
I'll take the Pats. New England at home.
Yeah, I'm on New England as well. Laying the 6. They killed the Giants yesterday. I just don't think the Chargers keep up.
And I'll get Sony Michael to score the first TD +400.
What are the teams again? Sorry, I was just deleting someone.
Chargers at Patriots.
Patriots, Chargers. Chargers.
And the last one, 10 o'clock Eastern. Chiefs at Seahawks. Kansas City -2.5, over under 61.5.
I'll take Kansas City.
I'm going Seahawks money line. All they've done is win during these simulations. There's no point in hopping off right now until it stops paying off.
So Seahawks are home.
Yes.
Seahawks for me again.
And I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes to score the first touchdown +2,500.
He's gonna run it in.
Yeah, why not? He'll run it.
Hey, if it happens.
Who ran it? What was his? Cam Newton, that Panthers game the other day.
Yeah.
He ran it. 60-something yard run. And they used him to run. Well, yeah, because he's got his running legs back. He's in a video game.
Wouldn't that be the best if that was the answer to everything? Oh, I'm in a video game. Everything works now.
All right. Well, tomorrow is our NFL draft preview. We're doing probably the first half of the draft tomorrow, and then we'll do the second half of the first round on Sunday. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, and have a great day.